When Fidel Castro took power in Cuba, communism gained a foothold in the Western Hemisphere. The U.S. responded with an embargo, effectively cutting off the island nation from American goods and services. In the 50 years since, more than 1 million Cuban citizens have escaped the repression brought on by what is known here as the revolution. Today, the average Cuban citizen still can't change jobs without government permission, and an unauthorized internet connection could land you in jail. The government owns most businesses, and the average citizen makes only about $15 a month. Change happens very slowly in this authoritarian country, but it is coming. Some would say out of necessity. You know, it's surprising how little has changed here in downtown Havana, Cuba, since the embargo began in the early 1960s. But one thing that is changing is the area of religious freedom. It's kind of surprising for a socialist country.
What we had in Cuba was a very hard time for the church. Almost 30 years that we suffered discrimination for our faith in Jesus Christ.
But things have changed dramatically in the last few years, and the church is staging a comeback.
I think that the Cuban government believes that the gospel is good for the nation of Cuba. And for that reason, they are asking the church in Cuba to help the Cuban government to bring back again the great value of the Cuban family.
In the past, being a Christian here all but guaranteed a very hard life. Persecution was the rule, with church leaders routinely imprisoned or driven out of the country. Those attitudes started to change when Raul Castro was elected in 2009. He promised to move the country away from some of the old communist policies, especially towards religion.
In 3 years, from 12 prayer groups, now we have 103 prayer groups in this area. Several years ago, this could not happen, but now this is possible by the miracle of God, because I think that is the time for Cuba.
We saw in times past many rigid things that we thought would never be broken, but now we're seeing a great harvest of souls in Cuba.
The church is also making inroads in the public schools, where they've been given permission to teach children the basics of moral principle, something unheard of even in America today. Some locals attribute this to economic reasons. The government sees the church as a cheaper way to carry out social programs. But these church members believe there are deeper reasons.
The people love us because we are bringing a message of love, of peace, of healing.
We've gone around to various places bringing food and clothing to those in need. And over 100 children have received Christ through what we've done so far.
And this leads to a new challenge.
We need Bibles. We need help with our budget to complete the work that is being done here.
I think that the main thing is pray for us. And you can help with Bibles, because sometimes the church grows up very fast and we have not enough material, enough tools.
The Christians in Cuba are doing their best to take advantage of their newfound freedoms and spread the gospel to the entire country.
God is doing this in a special way for Cuba. It's the special time for Cuba.
Chuck Holton, CBN News, Havana, Cuba.